Welcome back. Akamai, a company that makes sure your online video watching experience is seamless and glitch-free, out with the latest earnings last night. The company beat on the top and bottom lines for its most recent quarter. Looking forward, the company says video streaming demand for the Olympics and the 2016 election should help boost earnings for the rest of the year. I want to bring in the CEO of Akamai right now, Tom Leighton. Tom, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good to see you,
We've been having this whole debate in terms of where people are moving, and Anthony says, look, you know, this stuff moves quickly. People are already choosing other things over Facebook. I don't know where you stand on this, but I'm getting an email from one of my sources who says, look at the filings, and you will see that actually millennials leaving Facebook is speculation. You're still seeing Facebook and Google take 85% of digital ad dollars. How do you see it?
Well, obviously, Facebook and Google are very large entities, very powerful on the internet, and the tech landscape moves very quickly.
What are you seeing out there in terms of business today? How would you characterize things?
I would say business is very strong. A lot of trends working heavily in Akamai's favor. Video moving online, proliferation of mobile devices. You need it to show up instantly. And, of course, cybersecurity is a huge area. Every enterprise has to worry about it. Our fastest growing business at 47% year over year. Really important area.
What are those specific services that you're offering in your security?
We stopped the denial of service attacks. You know, a few years ago, you'd read about groups out of the Middle East taking down North American banks, and that's a pretty bad scenario. So we blocked that. We stopped that from happening. You have groups that want to deface websites. You know, for example, U.S. government websites, some groups would like to put their message there. We stopped that from happening. And you have groups that want to steal data, like your credit cards or your medical history, or in my case, I had my tax history stolen, you know, from the U.S. government.
Wow. And you saw growth in revenue in the security part of the business, 47%.
Yes, 47% year over year, and we're now well over $300 million annual run rate, and a whole suite of new products coming out there. Very exciting area.
Yeah, for sure.
It's 5 years from now. How are we watching TV or programming? What are we doing?
You know, I think in 5 years, pretty good chance a lot of the watching is being done online. You know, today the majority by far is the traditional methods. But, you know, we just broadcast the first major sporting event in 4K a couple of weeks ago. Major golf tournament in 4K. If you had the new Samsung or Sony TVs, you could watch it over the internet. Beautiful quality, high bit rates.
Brought to you by Posturepedic mattresses, right? I mean, because you guys didn't look too excited about the golf.
Yeah.
And you created what you're calling a war room to monitor internet video streams all around the world, right? You're already getting a lot of praise for this innovation. What does that war room look like?
Well, that's the Broadcast Operations Center, and it's sort of like you would have for traditional TV, but it's a lot more complicated because with traditional TV, you just worry about getting that signal to the satellite, and from there, things took care of themselves. With the internet, it's a different path to every end user, and you got to keep track to make sure every end user is getting a good experience.
There's our control room, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
so it's
we have our own war room.
It's more sophisticated, and you know, won Best in Show at the recent NAB show, which we are very excited about.
Yeah.
And it's the technology of the future for media.
Yeah, it's interesting because even when you look at a company like BlackBerry, right, they're also focused more and more on security. That's where the business is going, as well as streaming. Security and streaming.
Every vertical, you know, security is important. Media companies care a lot about it. You can imagine the Olympics, the World Cup sites, every bad guy wants their message on those sites.
But how competitive is that? Do you have a lot of competitors in that space?
You know, I think the competition is the old way of doing things, and the old way of doing things doesn't work in the modern internet world. You know, you just can't buy a box and stick it in your data center. You just get overwhelmed with the attack traffic, and so you need a defense in the cloud, and we're in a great position to provide that.
Apparently. Tom, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Tom Leighton joining us.